Destiny of America, okay. How long will it be, okay, you see when the presidents, they take the oath on the Bible. In our court of law, you take the oath on the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how long will you think that the Bible's still gonna be in our court system? You know, or
You mean literally?
literally.
Yeah, good.
Before they take it out, and Jay Sekulow has got to get back on it and get it back in. But anyway, the destiny of America, I see this going away.
So how long before the Bible just people go, why are we using this book?
Right, and
Yeah,
it could be a
possible.
Muslim, nothing against them. Taking the oath on the Bible, that means absolutely nothing to them.
Well, they don't. We know congressmen that have taken it on a Quran.
Yeah. Yeah, they're government people who've been sworn in
Okay, I didn't know
on the Quran.
they have their choice.
Two that I know of.
I think it would, if it happens, like perhaps a revival comes and we don't have to face that. If revival doesn't come and it's secularization, downward spiral, I think it's that mechanism. Just no one says we have to get rid of it. It's just okay. Then the people who are not members of other religious faiths, okay, some of them are getting sworn in on the Quran, Bhagavad Gita, whatever it is, and others say, you know what, swear me in on Thomas Paine, swear me in on John Locke, swear me in on the political philosopher that has meant the most to me, swear me in on the Constitution. And I think we just probably forget about it. And then people say, oh, did you hear about that backwoods senator from Kansas? He still gets sworn in on the Bible. Like, this is the Dark Ages. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's where I see it going. There's probably not some grand edict, although it could be. There could be a Supreme Court case ruling that says that I would argue misinterprets the presence of such a Bible as a First Amendment violation. It isn't, but judges have made dumber decisions before, and then just like that. And that sort of thing could happen at any time. You could have someone files the right lawsuit, the right justices are in the Supreme Court, the right be careful. People in the court change over time, right? The people who get sworn in are not the same people that they were sometimes even as much of a year or two ago. Big decisions have been made with people voting ways you never thought they would. So it could be sudden or it could be gradual, which or it could not happen at all, which basically is a non-answer.
It would be the Supreme Court to kick the Bible out of the courts.
Someone could file that lawsuit. I don't think it would happen, but that's one possible avenue. I think the more plausible situation of if they get rid of it, it's the death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we'll just get more and more secular, which is very funny because our moral fabric and foundation of our nation is Judeo-Christian, and for anyone to deny that as being anachronistic and just putting today's morality on back then, I mean, they're like, oh, we don't have it's not based on Judeo-Christian values. It's like, man, you that's just total revisionist history.
Yeah.
It's utter revisionist history. I mean, no, I'm not making the claim the United States was set up as a theocracy.
Right.
We were not set up as a Christian nation where you have freedom of religion. And I'll stand up and give anyone that right. I want to live in a nation that way.
Yeah.
I want to win you for Jesus. But until then, you
Yeah.
have the right to worship whatever demon you want to worship, you know. Joe, I mean, you know. But our society is based on Judeo-Christian values. So to remove the physical Bible, I could see it like that, death by 1,000 cuts. To totally get away from Judeo-Christian values, we're going to be in that's going to be when Pat Cheney might move, because that's talking about the total fabric of our whole society, including the Constitution.
If I had to make a guess, by the way, just to bring it back to my favorite question, if revival comes, like I said before, there's nothing we can do to make it happen, but that seems like a great time for God to make a move. That's when the hearts are ready. I think once we reach that point, it'll just be as clear as day, like, oh my goodness, what have we done to ourselves? You'll see it everywhere. People will have a yearning for that. I think it's a great time that's a great time for to try to ask God to move. I mean, we always should be praying for it. But once we get into that area where people are just openly saying Christianity is off limits in the public sphere by any means necessary, I know my history and I know how we got to where we are, the good things about it. I'm not optimistic about that society, and I think it could turn people by contrast to the faith. Just
That's
the
when the
disastrous
church has
nature of
grown
that.
the most.
Yep.
when we've been most persecuted. It's a real weird paradox.